So I guess I have neck rolls now. Team, let me tell you something. The last few days, nay, the introduction into the new year has been treacherous. Some may say grotesque. On a, quote, micro and macro level, how are you guys doing? Let's get a temp check. Let's feel the pulse. Count to 10. Check the number, multiply it by 6. Are we at a healthy resting heart rate? Because I'll tell you right now, mine isn't. Mine is not. I don't intend on having a healthy resting heart rate probably until Q2 of this year. Got in a car accident a few days ago. This woman decided to try to turn left across 4 lanes and totaled my car. So that's a little about me. But this is not about me. This is about Chris Evangelatos, who is a friend from high school. We reconnected at South Beverly Grill, a beautiful establishment. I walked up to him with my fingers covered in rib juice. And he is a premier real estate agent in the City of Angels. And, I'm happy I was able to snag him at a time like this, given that Los Angeles has taken quite a hit with the fires, and I think the general morale of the city is quite low. So it's interesting to weigh in on his take on everything, from the real estate side. Because we've seen some fuck shit on Zillow. We've seen the price gouging. Trying to figure out where do we point the finger of blame. I do need to preface, the audio on this episode got a little messed up. Let's add that to the 2025 intro list. I hope you guys can still love me. I hope you guys can still accept me. So go clean your thermometer and welcome to Open Wide. Christopher.
Yes.
The fact that the universe put us both in South Beverly Grill, some may say where dreams go to flourish, was so serendipitous. I truly cannot believe that we are in a 75 square foot room in Burbank together. What a gift.
Love this place.
Yeah, how are you feeling?
Great.
Yeah?
I love this place. South Beverly, though, I love more.
Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful place.
I have my go-tos.
I just told the story on Instagram the night that we ran into each other. I had ordered ribs.
Oh, yeah.
Mind you, I came running up to you with ribs on my fingers. Couldn't even wait a second.
So good.
And when I asked for a hot towel, the waiter dropped it down and said, "Here you go, dirty girls."
Unbelievable.
For a Hillstone.
For a Hillstone.
That's buck.
That is.
Beyond.
I do say that Hillstone's one of the most consistent restaurants.
Oh.
As far as quality food goes.
Yes.
It's unbelievable.
It is.
You know exactly what you're going to get every time.
Every time. It's also the hottest club in LA. To get a reservation, bye.
I know.
It's a 2-hour wait if you walk in.
Don't even bother looking at Honor Bar.
No. Also, I have thoughts about Honor Bar, but we can touch on that later.
Okay.
So we have you here as a real estate agent.
Yes.
And we gotta take it back a little bit to college. So you go to U of A.
Mm-hmm.
You black out.
Absolutely.
You probably get a curable STD, haven't we all?
A few.
You graduate.
Mm-hmm.
Did you go straight into getting your license?
No. Like most people, no idea what I was doing in college.
Sure.
Was hardly there for the education.
Who was?
And I, out of college, the question was out of college, right? What did I do out of college?
Yeah, did you know right after you graduated this is what you wanted to do?
Short answer is no.
Okay.
I still basically was what am I going to do? So, worked for Fiji Water bottles.
No, you did not.
I was the 1-800 number on the back of Fiji Water bottle if you had a complaint.
No, you...
It was bizarre.
Who's complaining about Fiji Water?
Pregnant women who basically, right when I got hired, the water was I hope I don't see if this study me, but the water was contained. There was their production line got contaminated somehow.
Oh no.
So the water was basically had mold in it from like open air contamination before it was bottled.
No.
And there was like, I don't know how long this went on for. I don't know how many bottles there were. But essentially what was happening is women would drink the bottles, the woman who complained or called and whatever. And by the time they realized it tasted funky or whatever, they look at it and they go, oh my God, it appears to be mold.
Okay.
So they're like, what's going on? I'm pregnant, yada, yada.
And you're the one.
And we had I had a script that was like, how do you answer this? And this was like day one. I was like, what the fuck? This is insane.
You're probably 22.
22, random calls. And then I had people call about like, I had one guy call me who was a rapper.
Oh.
And he actually sent me an email. He goes, did you see my email? And I'm like, yeah, I did get this email, And he had tattooed a Fiji Water bottle on him. And he wanted like a sponsorship. Just get random calls. So, just people calling them. Just who knows? I mean, just random stuff.
So when you were with Fiji, were you like, I gotta get out of here?
I just was like, I'm just not a call service guy, wherever.
You're front of house.
Front of house.
Yeah.
So after that, then I worked for a company doing commercial SBA loans, which was like kind of more along the lines of like, what I was interested in, which is like loans, small business loans and loans for different projects. And this company would basically facilitate those loans. But it was really, I was there only maybe like 8 months. I was like, I just don't like this.
Okay.
It was a little bit it felt too commercial for me. It was too like transactional. And I was like, it was all phone calls. I didn't get to meet anybody. I like being in person. You
got charisma.
Yeah. And it's just like, I feel like, just like we're doing now, having a conversation. I wasn't really having that. So then I was like, all right, let me just get my real estate license. I know somebody whose dad started a successful brokerage.
And how long are you at this point?
Let's see, graduate. I did 5 years in college. So,
okay.
So I went to community college for 2 years, then transferred.
Okay.
So
25.
probably, let's see, 25, maybe 25, yeah. Oh, well, no, let's see, I've been doing it. I did reverse engineer this, obviously.
Did a little subtraction?
7 years, so I was, like 24.
Okay.
24, 24.
Okay.
So, 24.
So then you passed the exam.
Passed the exam.
Riddle me this. Does everyone have to start by selling like a dilapidated sea shanty? Or is there like ever some maybe nepotism where like you can kind of get your head in the game, maybe with some bigger...
There is to an extent nepotism.
Okay.
But usually that is directly affiliated with if your dad or mom is a developer or owns a brokerage or is a top producer, as in top agents. They actually sell a ton.
Sure.
Then they will give you business right off the bat. You start out the gates, and even with that, just because they're giving the business does not mean you know how to facilitate the business, sell the property.
Because you don't really have a clientele when you start. So even if you're given like the biggest home, you're not.
What do you do?
Right.
These real estate tests are incredibly irrelevant to the day-to-day.
Okay.
I mean, virtually nothing on there helps you to become a good real estate agent.
What are they teaching?
It's like laws. Like, I remember just stupid stuff about, like, mineral rights.
Mineral
rights, like groundwater leases, stuff about farming. There's a lot of agriculture in California. Because California's so big that you have to think about.
Covers a lot of ground. Yeah.
So, and then there's like, portions about redlining, which is basically forcing people out of their home or into a home.
Okay.
And just random stuff.
And they don't teach you the pizzazz, if you will.
No, they don't teach you how to be flashy. They don't teach you how to get clients. They don't teach you how to. They really don't even teach you about the contracts, truthfully.
So then, how did you build your clientele? I'm picturing lots of like.
That is a great question, and it's always an ongoing thing.
Really?
I think everyone's always building their clientele until you have enough clients that just refer your business that you don't have time to build your clientele.
But what does that even mean? Are you like
So
Going to lunches.
oh gosh, yeah, I spent $10,000 last year taking people to lunch.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
But so I started Keller Williams, which is really great for people who want to learn how to get business, and even that there's a point where it stops teaching you because it's all nuance from there. So it's very old school, traditional way of getting business, door knocking, cold calling, that stuff that's really just brutal.
And you did that.
I did do that. Oh yeah, I mean, I did it up until 2 years ago when I just was like, I'm over it.
Yeah.
I've had some weird encounters, door knocking, and some good ones too.
Okay.
So, and I know people. I have a colleague whose entire business started off door knocking, and he's one of the more successful agents in our office.
Wow.
And there's really great stories of door knocking that I've heard of. And so
what's the weirdest door knocking? Like, have you ever had someone pull a knife on you? Like,
not exactly, but almost. We knocked on this door. I was door knocking with a colleague, and we got up to the door, and he had workers underneath his house or on the side yard or something working. So I could tell there was something being constantly contracted. Knock on his door, and he had thought that we were like maybe with the company, from the workers, something along these lines. And he goes, "Are you guys done?" And I'm like, "No, we're
maybe I've just arrived."
I was like, we're just coming, knock your door, see if you're willing to sell. This was like 2021 when anyone would buy any house for any price.
Sure.
So I was like, we tell him we have buyers for the house, even though we didn't, but because I know if he gave us listing, we'd be able to find buyers in a heartbeat. So, anyways, he goes, "You guys are real estate agents? Get the fuck out of my house, or off my property." And I was like, "Okay, relax, it's fine." He goes, "You guys are vermin. You guys are just yelling at us." He starts coming towards us, and the guy I'm with is like a 6'4" ex-NCAA basketball player. Ooh. So I'm like, what does this guy think he's? What possibly could he do? He didn't have a knife in his hand, but he started charging us.
Oh my God.
And I was like, all right, we gotta go to the curb, and then we can just figure out from there. So kind of start, fast pacing. I'm not gonna hit this guy, whatever. Just move on. And then we kind of just he said, "I'm gonna call the cops." I'm like, "Fine, call the cops. What are we gonna do? I'll be down the street, door knocking in more houses."
Sure.
And so then we go to the next house, directly next door, his neighbor. We knock on the door, and it sounds like there is a murder happening in the house.
What do you mean?
It is like I'm blanking on the word, an exorcism. It sounds like an exorcism. A scream. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, maybe at least the cops are on the way from the next guy, because we need to point them in the direction of this house. So, and at that point, I remember I looked at him. I go, "We're done for the day. I don't want to do this anymore."
Oh my God.
Go back to the office. Let's look at our notes that we got. Go from there. And it's just grueling.
God forbid you were a Jehovah's Witness.
Oh my gosh.
Brutal.
By the way, a lot of credit to those guys.
Yeah.
Because even though I don't agree with the work they do, but my God.
Give them credit.
Those guys might be great realtors.
100%.
Actually. I should look into that.
Do you show up with the little short sleeve, button down, little black tie?
They gotta make a living somehow, so why not try to sell real estate?
They're trying their best.
They sure are.
Damn. Okay, so you really started in the trenches.
In the trenches.
You have paid your dues. So I noticed you're with Compass now, right?
Yeah.
I also noticed you're with something called Compass Concierge. What is that?
I actually don't know.
Okay.
I just switched from Hilton and Highland, where I was for 5-6 years.
Okay.
So I'm still learning Compass's things that they have to offer, which is they have bells and whistles that they bring people over. Sure. It was a last minute decision for me.
Oh, so this is recent, the switch.
Oh, very recent, like mid-December.
Oh wow. Okay.
So it was contingent on a listing, a client that wanted a Compass agent, and because his nephew worked at Compass.
Oh.
So I thought to myself, and coincidentally, my partner, who I've been working for him, under him, with him for 5 years, I was on the phone with his client, and the client says, "Yeah, we're leaning in the direction of the other agents because there was multiple people got interviewed for the listing." And I said, "Okay, well, just is there a reason particular give you a better number
Mm-hmm.
than us? Did you like his marketing more? And he goes, well, my nephew up north works for Compass,
God
and
bless.
the other Compass agent who came and interviewed, he works for the same company, so he tells me how good, and my nephew tells me how good Compass is. So we're gonna probably go in that direction. And my boss goes, well, we did just sign with Compass.
No.
And I was like, huh? I didn't know.
Surprise.
Yeah, so I obviously went with it, and then I had told my boss, I said, well, if we don't get the listing with the news that we just provided him, I'm going to stay at Hilton Island, and you'll go to Compass.
Sure.
So
I'm assuming this was a big listing.
Relatively speaking,
Okay.
yeah, it's 5.3 is what we're going to be asking.
Okay.
But now with the fires, the house next door listed like 3 days ago for $8 million, and that was purchased in 2019 for 5.4. Really, they did nothing to the house other than new floors, updated bathrooms,
Okay.
paint, and they listed for $8 million, and they already have an offer with released contingency. So contingent free offer in 48 hours.
Can we talk about that real quick?
Yeah.
So the fires recently happened, are still going on. Immensely tragic.
Horrible.
I'm assuming they affected your clientele
Yes.
in the Palisades.
Yes.
There is atrocious price gouging happening now.
Atrocious.
Is that a decision of the homeowner? Is that a decision of the real estate agent? Like, where is the source of this decision?
Right. So a homeowner could ask an opinion and say, what do you think we could get for this right now?
Right.
At the end of the day, it is the homeowner's decision for what every listing price is for a home for sale or for lease. It's their house. So, they make the calls.
Right.
They sign the contract. We just but we advise.
Yeah.
So some homeowners have been ill-advised and said, we can get a crazy number right now, which is true. But California put something into place that effectively you cannot increase your listing price for lease now for more than 10% of what you had it listed for.
Is that a lease or buying?
For
or
lease.
Just
I don't
lease?
know that there's anything for buying.
Okay.
So
Okay.
there's limits now to what you can actually list your house for lease.
I mean, it's great. Like originally $4,000 a month is now $20,000.
Yeah, and people are paying it.
Wild.
And so you can't even if you can only offer 10% more, you can't even accept more than 10%.
Okay.
So if someone said, I'll give you $50,000 a month, but it's really worth 25, you can't take it.
And are you of the mindset that it's like, it's a dog eat dog world, do what you want? Do you think there's like some moral obligation involved?
I mean, people in this city will pay whatever they want to pay because they want what they want.
Right.
The only problem is that they may change their mind 6 months down the road when they're all settled in and comfy and have a house now, that, what, I overpaid, and they may have a different train of thought.
Sure.
So because of that, it opens up so much potential for litigation that moral compass or not, there's so much room for error there.
Right.
And ultimately, like, negligence.
Right.
You know?
Okay. So then, do you prefer to be on the selling side or the buying side?
Oh my gosh, selling side.
Beyond.
1,000 times over.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because you show people houses forever and ever and ever. I have a client right now. There's, 34, married recently, parents' money.
Sure.
Budget's $5 million. And I've been showing them a house for a year and a half. Houses for a year and a half. We've made some offers.
Okay.
But they just do not decide. They're so indecisive, and where they want to live is like, with their budget, you're like, hey, that's really unlikely.
Yeah.
Or you have to buy a really shit house and put money into it. They don't want to do that either. So it's like,
my guy.
What are we doing here? So buyers waste your time.
Sure. But then couldn't the same be said with selling as far as Well, no, because you're in LA, you'll always get multiple offers on a home, right?
No, not always.
No?
But
Okay.
no, but sellers will also say, I want to try to sell my house for $50 million, but it's worth 30.
Okay.
So you have a decision to make when you come across this scenario: is it worth it to you, and if so, at what cost? Because the guy who founded my old company used to say it's best to be the first child, the second wife, and the third listing agent.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
the third listing agent, after the first two have been fired, is most likely going to sell the house
Why is that?
because of reduction in price. So the sellers come to terms that it's not worth $50 million,
Sure.
and it's now also not worth $40 million, like the second listing agent had.
Right.
And he goes, all right, I knew it was kind of always worth 30. I just wanted to see what would happen, but the listings, the agreements expired. So now we're on to the third agent, and if you're the lucky person to be the third agent, then you will sell the house. And usually, relatively, it happens quick at that point because people have had their eye on it forever.
So once they see the price drop, they're like, right now.
And sometimes we'll not take listings because sellers will say they want the $50 million, and we'll say, well, it's not worth it, and call us when you're ready, and then we end up being the third listing agent, because
dude, it's all timing.
All timing.
God damn. So then, speaking of timing, do you hate open houses? They're like 5 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Slow days. You're starving.
Oh
You
my
probably
gosh.
have to poop the whole time.
Hate open houses.
They sound brutal.
Especially when there's no Wi-Fi or furniture. And you're in a dead zone.
No.
There's a lot of places actually in the canyons that have no service.
You're in a straitjacket the whole time, just
No,
like, welcome.
literally. It's, yeah.
Damn.
And especially hate open houses when you're like early on in your career and you're trying to get the business, you're trying to find buyers.
Okay.
So it's not even your listing. And then, I actually have yet to have nobody show up to an open house, but I can't count how many times there's been one person. So you sit there for hours, and I love football.
Sure.
When it's football season and it's Sunday, let me tell you, I am upset because I am missing football. I want to just sit on my couch all day, hungover, order a burrito, whatever it is, don't move, and watch a ton of football.
No, you're in your
and look
personal
at my fantasy
hell.
team. Yeah, it's horrible.
God damn.
I don't think people realize that when they want to become a realtor, because
your day's shot.
No, it's 6. You work 6 days a week.
Yeah.
Because you're working Sundays, and people have jobs, so they can't see houses on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So they also want to see houses on Saturday. Ooh. And you make $0, by the way, until you make money.
Well, I feel like, okay. My next question was going to be, do you get a high from, closing a deal?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it is all of this time that you aren't making money, but then when you do, it's a lot.
It's a lot, yeah.
So I feel like you're almost like hunting.
Always.
And it's, right? And then you finally get the kill.
Yep.
Is it like a legitimate dopamine release?
Well, seeing a check for $100,000 plus, $25,000.
Yeah.
At one time, it is a really great feeling going to the bank.
Oh, turn up.
And, you're like, oh, who's my teller going to be today?
Sure.
And they look at you and they're like, okay,
Yeah.
And it is a good feeling because it makes you feel like, oh, wow, that's a lot of money at once.
100%.
Even somebody who makes really good money, I mean, their checks are probably like, what, $2,000, $5,000?
Right.
My wife's an attorney. I don't know exactly what her checks look like every 2 weeks, but,
right.
There's
not 100,000.
But yeah, it's not 100,000.
Yeah. So is there like a ritual you do when you close a deal? Is there like a way you celebrate?
I wish there was a ritual because I think it would make it more fun, but my boss is not, he's a work and go home guy.
Oh, on to the next.
And another partner of mine that I work with, he's got 2 kids, and I'm like, I just don't want to buy a bag of blow and go sit down.
Yeah, what are we even talking about?
Drink a couple martinis and just go all night. I mean, am I alone here? So,
damn.
Which is, I guess saves me $500 dinner and drinks.
But $500 in relation to $100,000?
Yeah.
Let's shake some ass.
No, it's awesome.
Damn.
But you do have to you have to put money aside for taxes because
Yeah.
it's in your bank account. It looks beautiful, but half of it is not yours yet.
Sure.
Which is so insane.
No, don't even get me started. Then what was the most rewarding deal you've ever done? Whether that was like the highest price, was there something that you've been working at for so long that you finally got?
Funny enough, it wasn't about price. It was about status of famous people that I connected. So about a year ago, I was introduced to Sacha Baron Cohen.
Okay.
And piece of work, that man. I was thinking actually earlier today on my way here, I was like, what NDAs do I have signed?
Sure.
And I didn't have one signed for him.
Okay. We're all wrapped up in at least one.
Yeah, and I said, you know what, fuck it, you're going to say me.
Yeah. No, he seems unique.
Yeah, he's unique, to say the least. So, anyways, and then lo and behold, I found out divorce, going through this divorce.
Okay. And you were his agent?
His agent.
Okay.
And was introduced to him through his business manager. And his business manager, I got a hold of him through a cold email.
Okay.
Built a relationship, one of my lunches in the $10,000 mix of lunches last year. And just stayed in touch with him, whatever. And one day he just said, I have something for you. I was familiar with the house because it had been passed around off market forever. I actually had been there before.
Okay.
It was never on market because of his privacy and whatever. But I had seen it off market. And it was for lease forever. And it was for sale forever. And the prior listing agent could not lease it or sell it. So we had to we came in. And basically the house needed to be completely prepped. All the shit was there. Even the ice cream cart from from Borat.
Stop.
Yeah. So and so anyways, it took forever to prep, and the idea was he needed to lease it for an extended period of time, so when he sells it, he can defer capital gains to index something else.
Okay.
So he didn't have to pay capital gains tax, which is like an insane amount of money.
Yeah.
So it's like California's like, because you made a good investment, we're gonna tax you 50% for it when you pull out the money. You know.
Okay.
It's like maybe I think 40%, but it's
still too much.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
And so we prepped that house. It took 4 months. I mean, it was grueling work to get it prepped.
4 months.
4 months.
Okay. And you did it.
All this shit. You basically make the house free and clear of anything that shows you live there.
Okay.
So no personal items. It's a big house. I mean, it was a huge house, 3 acres on Mulholland, and there was multiple structures on the house. There was a main house. There was a 2-bedroom guest house, and then there was a movie theater that was detached. There was a pool house that was detached, and then there was a gym that was detached.
What?
Or like a clubhouse that was detached.
Just like a bunch of little
walking trails to the whole house, to the whole property.
I feel like you'd have like a llama roaming around. Like
you would
just
think,
be...
yeah. And he bought the house in 2012, I think, and he didn't really do much to it. So the house was beat up, and it just needed a lot of lipstick. So
did you end up selling it, or did you end up leasing it?
So we ended up leasing it to. Sorry, I got on a tangent. So I ended up leasing it to Mick Jagger.
Stop.
Which is pretty cool. So he was in town for 6 weeks for his concert, I believe. I think he just on tour in like 82 or whatever.
Okay.
So he leased it for 6 weeks, and he had a team of 10 people there at any given time. And oh my God, it was so many calls about just shit. And you're like, again, even, we leased it for $130,000 a month. And it was just like, there's still no money to be made in that.
Because it's a lease.
It's a lease.
Right.
There's nothing. It's like 4 months of work. And the idea was like, just remember the idea is you're going to sell the house. It's worth it. And the problem with him was he never signed a contract with us saying we are the listing agents. Because he just didn't want to do it. We fought tooth and nail because we wanted to be protected. And how can you sell a house if you can't market the house? If you market the house, you tell the wrong person, they're going to come in, they're going to steal your client, steal listing, bring a buyer, cut you out. And that's exactly what happened.
Huh? So even though you didn't make a whole lot of money, it was the story, it was the gag, it was the...
I could say, and I have a check from him. It says Sacha Baron Cohen.
I love
it. For like nothing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, that was, to me, I was like, that's a cool story.
I love it.
Yeah, so outside of the money, I'm like, it was still fun. Would I do it again? No.
No. It was a time.
It was a time.
We did it. We don't need to do it again.
It was a time. I proved to the business manager that we can get shit done. We can get the house ready, released it, and we weren't given a fair chance. But I said to him, I said, I mean, come on, you're not going to give us a little bit more credit, say thank you,
Sure.
that. He goes, you're on a very short list of realtors that I will be referring business to. So
that's all we need.
That's all we need.
A little bit will go along. Okay.
Yeah.
So then I know you're in LA.
Yep.
You're dealing with these A-list clients. Would you ever go on a show like Selling Sunset? Or how do you feel?
I've thought about that.
Okay. You have the look. You have the vibe.
Thank you. I'm indifferent.
Okay.
Because I thought about that for like the Allman Brothers and the guys that did the $1 Million Listing thing, and did it serve them well? Out of the bunch, I think it did. And they're likable guys. They're actually really nice.
Sure.
Josh and Matt are great people.
Okay.
The Bond Street guys, great people. And I actually think the show served them well. But then there's the what if of like, what if the show doesn't serve you well? Yeah.
It's a gamble.
But I do think, there's the saying, all publicity is good publicity, right?
I feel like especially in real estate.
Yeah. So I'm like, if someone said right now you got to do it, I'd say yes.
You would?
Yeah.
Okay.
So why not? Because I'm like, why not?
Yeah.
What do you have to lose? I'm like, I don't care. I'm still a good agent at the end of the day.
Well, they have to prove themselves. I mean, even on the show, they're still...
The Selling Sunset women, a lot of them really, they say, oh, I got this big listing. I'd go and fact check them just like, do they really?
Yeah.
I'd never seen any of them.
And do they?
In the business. And most of them don't, no.
Okay.
And some
that
of them
more like
only
a reality show.
Some of them only sold like maybe one thing, 2 houses.
Okay.
So, because I was always curious too, I was like, what, are they actually doing business?
Right.
I would know because I'm out there. I see people. I know people.
It's a small world.
I've never seen them. So, yeah, I mean, I think they were probably brought on the show to look cute and, make these guys look like, these bachelors.
Sure.
And which, I mean, they are. That's what they are.
Yeah.
But
it's a little extra fluff.
They do business, though, those two.
Okay.
They do good business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you see that the Oppenheim group?
Yeah. Oppenheim, yeah.
They are representing Murder Mansion in Los Feliz. Do you know the lore about this house?
No, I actually don't.
Okay, so Murder Mansion, I want to say, this insane crime happened in 1959 or 1960. It was a double murder homicide. It was this doctor who killed his wife, beat his daughter to death, and killed himself. And basically, any owner who has owned the house since, all of this bad shit happens.
Oh my god!
Even if they aren't living in the home, I think the last owner went bankrupt. And there's
oh my god!
And the house still looks the same from the 60s. And I even think the owners before it, it's just this awful, awful home. People have died in it, and I see it's on the market now. I think for 4 something. Oh, no. But all of the photos are renderings.
Of course.
They're not actually of the house.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I mean the kind of disclosure. If something, you really don't have to even disclose that if someone didn't know, because it's only 3 years. If someone died in the property within 3 years of it being sold, you have to disclose it.
Wait, it's only 3 years?
It's only 3 years.
Wait, I thought it was forever if someone died.
Mm-mm.
No
3
way.
years. So, I mean, if it's being advertised like that, maybe they don't stand a good chance, but it doesn't have to be advertised like that. But if everyone knows,
it's
everyone
thing.
knows.
Yeah.
I'm sure if I saw the house, I'd recognize it.
Have you ever sold a haunted house, or have you ever felt any spooky ookies?
Not a haunted house, but a house that was being used for to make drugs, essentially.
A trap house?
It was a trap house, yeah. It was a trap house. Thank you, Emily.
Narc?
Yeah, Narc. Yeah, this was a house that being used to make edible gummies.
Oh, okay.
But there comes a lot with that, and I think there was potentially illegal immigrants in there. It was a full-on.
There was an operation happening.
Because there was
Okay.
like blow up beds, like
Not
weird
the
sketchy
blow-up
people. Yeah, like
beds.
old McDonald's, like, you know, on the floor, rat droppings everywhere because, you know, obviously they're using sugar, and I think they were making nerds ropes. And I'm like, just so if anyone sees any nerds ropes out there, they're edibles, I don't know, could be from these guys.
You're doing an open house. You're like, this beautiful home nestled between a bakery.
Oh my gosh, funny stories. We actually sold that house without someone coming to see it. We virtually staged the house, sold it to a gentleman who lived up north in San Francisco.
Okay.
And he was buying the house for his daughter who was going to USC. And yeah, we had, you know, virtually staging these days looks incredibly real. It's honestly hard to decide whether it's real furniture or not.
Okay.
And he wrote in the contract that the furniture is to be included with the sale. And we're like, I hate to tell you, but the furniture is fake. It's not even there. Yeah.
Oh.
But he bought the house anyways. And I'm like, you know, we haven't got any calls or anything. So I'm like, thank God. I was holding my breath for like a few months after. I'm like, when is he going to call and be like, hey, you know, this house is not what I thought.
Sure. Yeah, the photography, I'm telling you. And the little renderings, it goes a long way.
Yeah.
So I know you are married.
Yes.
Recently married to a lovely woman. I met her briefly.
Yes.
But I must know, have you ever hooked up with a client?
No, I haven't.
No way.
No. Oh, you know, actually, I've always had girlfriends. So
you're a serial monogamist.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Have not ever hooked up with a client. But you know, when I was not married, I mean, I totally would have if it was getting business.
Sure.
It doesn't matter the age, especially if she had a big house and she's an older woman. I'm like, let's go. I mean,
I'll strap on a ball gag. Crazy.
Young, hungry.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I could be horny too for the right price.
Sure. In ways, and hear me out, real estate agents, it's sex work in a way without the sex. It's prostitution.
Oh my gosh. You are just putting yourself out there.
Yep.
And willing to do whatever for whatever.
Yep.
Just for the slight hope
glimmer
of getting a sale.
Yep.
I mean, it's like, I'm sure there are crazy stories.
I have a friend, you actually might know her. She's a real estate agent, and she was representing a buyer, and he would sit on a couch a certain way in his loose shorts, and it would just be a constant nut out all the time, just one loose old nut on the table, and it's like you just
client.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. And you can't say anything.
What are you gonna do?
Nothing. Just let the nut out.
And was this intentional, or was this?
I don't know if he just couldn't feel the breeze. I don't know. It's up for question.
Oh my gosh.
But it's a lot.
That is awesome.
So with every episode, I do some trivia.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you 3 questions.
Sure.
I don't know why I did this. 3. God bless.
It's good to know.
Are you ready?
Ready.
What is the only planet in our solar system to rotate clockwise on its axis?
Clockwise, the Earth? I have no idea.
Venus, apparently.
How the hell would I know that?
I don't either.
That's crazy.
Okay, what do you call a group of flamingos?
A flock?
A flamboyance.
A flamboyance.
You were honestly kind of close.
I had the
you were there.
It was on my tongue.
What country uses approximately 4 billion miles of toilet paper each year?
India.
China.
Damn it.
I know. God. India is the Ganges.
I think they have more population in India, right? Or I may be mistaken.
That should be my next trivia question.
I think there's over 1 billion people that in India. Almost certain. Because cricket.
But isn't China?
Cricket is the most watched sport, if you knew.
Wait, what is that? Cricket? Do they play cricket in India?
Yeah. And I think it's because that's their sport. Huh. And so there's 1 billion people in India watching cricket.
Stop. Mm-hmm. What a random fact that like seeped into your brain.
Yeah.
You did a great job. For those random ass questions, I feel like you were nearby. Just a quick little 3. Okay. A quick little 3. So I feel like it's safe to say that our generation is pretty fucked when it comes to buying homes, unless you have generational wealth. You know, I feel like our parents bought a house for 2 dimes and a handful of lint, and now it's a different ball game. Is there a world where, do you ever think prices will go down?
Maybe in the Palisades.
Yeah, in like Altadena. Yeah.
temporarily.
Sure.
But I think that prices go down. I just don't. A true recession would have to happen.
For
And
that,
at that
2008.
point, at that point, you don't have any money.
Right.
No one does.
It's all relative.
So even at a reduced price, the vultures are going to come in and they're going to be the ones picking everything up. And then they're going to remodel and do whatever it is. By the time the recession's out, they're going to sell them to a premium.
Right.
So there's...
Is it more just hope then for interest rates to go down, even though the
interest rates are your best opportunity, but there's, you have to be a savvy. If you want to buy real estate, you have to make a plan. Because without a plan, you will never own real estate, especially in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
You're just going to rent forever. You're going to pay $1 million to rent, and you're never going to be able to save enough money and come up with a plan, formulate something that works. Because without a plan, you just can't. You have to make a shit ton of money for a lot of years to even save up enough to have a down payment.
Right.
There are things you can do, but you just have to know about them. For example, one of them would be to get a FHA loan and buy a duplex or a quadplex.
Okay.
So it's a government-assisted loan.
Okay.
And you have to basically live in the property for a year in order to qualify. And you basically get, in LA, the government will give you, I think it's like $2.1 million for a fourplex in Los Angeles County with only 3% down.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Do you have to pay, what's that additional, it's like RO? No. It's like some extra percentage when your down payment is so low. Like
you mean tax. Like there's basically mortgage like a mortgage premium that you have to pay just to cover costs of I think it's basically if you fall out of your mortgage, you can't pay it. Okay. It's a premium that would go anything under like 20%, or I don't know what the threshold is. You have to pay an additional cost for like insurance essentially.
Okay. And that's FHA.
FHA loan, Federal Housing Administration loan.
What do you think about TICs, tenant in common?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I've heard very mixed reviews because like once you're in, it sounds like you're kind of trapped, and then you don't really make a whole lot of money when you sell it.
I tried to sell one this year, 2 years ago, and it was a pain in the ass. Okay. Didn't end up selling it.
Really?
And they're really beautiful actually. It was like 6 units on Bedford. Okay. So right in the heart of Beverly Hills. I mean, honestly, couldn't have been a nicer place. They were reasonably priced. But when you start explaining to people around here that tenants in common is not very common in Los Angeles. In San Francisco, I believe it's more common there. Okay. And then I think New York, I want to say they're all co-ops. I'm almost certain this is just a different word for tenants in common. Okay. And I think New York is the same way, if I'm not mistaken. But avoid at all costs if you're here. Yeah. I mean, just incredibly difficult to sell, incredibly difficult to manage. And if you own it, one person has an issue, you don't agree with it, it's just a headache. Attorney bills, you name it. Right.
Okay. So are there any trends you're seeing? Are people going to a certain part of the country? Are people leaning more condo over house?
That's a good question. Yeah, people have been leaving California, at least for now, for 3 years since COVID, really. Okay. It doesn't feel like any because fucking traffic's still so crazy. Right. And it hasn't made a dent, but people are leaving. I mean, without question. And like you look at now, last week, you're like, more people are leaving. I have a friend who's an agent in Vegas, and he said he's getting calls for people who are looking to move from Vegas who lost their home. People are moving out of just LA in general. They're going to Newport Beach, San Diego, Montecito, Palm Springs even. People are just kind of sick of LA. Yeah. But as far as trends go within LA, people are going where they can afford, which is like the Valley. Yeah. Los Feliz is hardly affordable anymore because that trend almost is over. Yeah. People are moving to Redondo, Torrance, places that are just more affordable.
Valley.
Yeah,
I mean, the Valley's even getting priced out. It's
Studio City. It's interesting. I'm waiting for people to see like Inglewood, adjacent, that whole area. When are people going to start moving there is what I'm wondering.
So there was a point in time where I was looking, and I was looking at Leimert Park.
Oh, yeah.
And
It's like a famous park, by the way.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
No, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I felt weird buying up the nicest house on the street in a community where people have been there forever.
Yeah.
Something felt a little off, I will say. I felt like I was stealing in a weird way. Granted, couldn't even afford the house. I mean, it was already so expensive. Yeah. But I do think just naturally there will be movement in those areas.
By default, there has to be.
Right. Well, Inglewood is also, didn't they like create a huge stadium or something?
Yeah.
Or I mean,
it's just, that's how you would think. So, like, even an example would be in Beverly Hills, in the flats, right? Are you familiar with the flats in Beverly Hills? So that was like where, back when Beverly Hills was like created, where all the rich people lived. Their help, their maids, their gardeners, their whoever, lived south of Wilshire. Okay. So like south of south of Wilshire Boulevard, and now those homes are like, now rich people live in those homes. Huh. It's like you have to be...
Well, Venice used to be absolute ass and scary. And now Venice is good luck.
But although Venice got hit really hard in the last few years.
Really?
Yeah, prices came down crazy in Venice.
Oh, trippy.
There was a client we had that bought a house there for $14 million.
Okay.
And we had it for sale for, I think it was $9 million, like a year ago. Couldn't sell it.
Whoa.
I think they even reduced it to 7.5 at one point. Couldn't sell it.
Ooh. It's
a really cool house.
Okay.
Really beautifully done. Amazing house. So sick.
Venice is taking a hit.
Taking a hit.
Yep. Okay.
I think that has to do probably with all the homeless people, the drugs there. Last time I was in Venice was probably a few months back, and I recall the boardwalk actually being clean. Like they may have moved the homeless somewhere else. Okay. I don't know if that stayed.
My friend lives there and gets a break-in like once a quarter, I would say.
Yeah.
It's a different beast.
Break-ins now everywhere.
I know. I wouldn't say it's specific to where. Yeah.
I had a friend of mine who lives south of Wilshire Boulevard in Beverly Hills. And this was maybe 4 months ago. His wife was pregnant, and he could see on his Ring camera someone breaking in. So he goes out there. He's a big dude. And probably 6'4", weighs 240, goes out there, and he goes to confront this guy, and the guy starts fighting him, and he tears his ACL. My buddy tears his ACL.
No. Yeah. No.
Insane. And that's just one of so many break-ins.
Oof.
If you're on Citizen app, it's don't even download it.
I don't.
If you want to sleep at night, there's no reason.
It's
to
like cat got stabbed outside.
No,
it's what are we doing, guys?
Unbelievable.
No, it's next level.
Yeah.
God bless. Okay.
I know.
So I end each episode with the same question.
Okay.
And it's as follows: what do you wish more people understood about you? I always preface that by saying it can be within real estate, it can be within just your interpersonal world, however you feel like that resonates.
That is a great question. I would say, as far as what I want more people to think about me.
Just understand.
Understand about me. My qualifications to sell your house. I am these agents who have 20 listings at a time.
Yeah.
Do you really think that they're going to give you the time of day and work their ass off to sell your house? But
you paid your dues. You have the badge to show it.
Come on.
Yeah.
But no, outside of that, on a personal level, I would just say that understand about myself. I don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah.
It's so easy for work.
Yeah.
For myself, it's more what is the answer to that?
You also just are a calm, cool, collected guy. Maybe you don't need anyone to understand anything about you. Maybe you don't feel misunderstood at all.
Yeah. I don't know. I I feel like I'm pretty good at articulating to people my thoughts, my needs, my wants, my opinions.
Yeah.
If I hate you or you're doing something to piss me off, I'll just tell you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think people in general, I feel like it would be nice. I know. I wish more people would just be kind to me.
Yeah.
Not that all these people are dicks to me, but like, oh my gosh, in LA, it's like you don't know what the next person's going through.
Right.
When people are just assholes.
Right.
You know, it's like I wish people would just take a look in my eyes, in my point of view, and see what I'm seeing before you follow through with saying whatever you say, do whatever you do, because I'm like, hey, I'm a person too.
Right.
You know, just because I work for you or I'm sitting next to you at dinner or you're serving me at a restaurant, I'm still just a person. You know, and it's like, and I think that should really go for anybody, even a celebrity. I hear so many people say, oh, well, they'll be able to afford to get a new house even if it burnt down, or, you know, who cares? Those guys have so much money and all these things are like,
it's still a tragedy.
Celebrities are people too.
It still sucks.
I'm like,
yeah.
You have no idea what that house means to them.
Right. Or what was in it.
What was in it. I mean, you know, it's just, I had these clients that are the sweetest couple, Beth and Cappy, and their house burned down. It was Beth's 81st birthday.
No, Beth.
It was Cappy's 87th birthday a few days later. And they lived in that house 46 years. Believe it or not, it's the second time their house has burned down.
Okay.
And he died on the day that it was her birthday.
Oof.
The day the house burned down. He was a fertility doctor. He owns the largest sperm bank.
Cappy.
Yeah, Cappy.
Your sperm.
He said, he was telling me, he goes, I have 400,000, children at any given moment, or sperm at any given moment that I will be the reason why they're born.
Oh.
And I'm like, wow, holy shit, that's crazy to think about. But they made good money. He also had 5 David Hockneys that burned down with the house, which I'm like, I don't even want to know whether they're insured or how much those cost.
God bless.
But they're they are the sweetest, nicest people, and that's like a rare case of clients that are just sweet and nice.
Right.
And you want to work harder for people like that.
Yeah.
I bust my ass, and the women that's on a property now, a condo for $3 million for them, and they're like calling me every 5 minutes, like, when can we move in? I'm like, we got to make sure do it the right way.
Right.
They wish there was a buy now button. I'm like, there's not a buy now button.
Right.
But we can try to escalate it as fast as we can.
Yeah.
But those people are just so sweet, and they fall into the category when everyone says, well, they're just rich people and they can just buy stuff. Well, these are 46 years. Their whole that was their life.
We got to be a little more human.
More human.
Yep.
People need more human.
Well, Chris, you are a delight.
Thank you.
Anyone who's looking to buy a home, to sell a home, mostly sell a home, I'm going to link your website, socials, whatever it's. How can they find you?
Yeah, I don't even know where to find me on my new Compass website.
I found you.
Someone texted me the other day. Oh, did you? Oh, the Compass thing? Oh, okay.
So I'll put the link.
I wonder what my bio is. I'm like, where does the bio say? Okay, well, that's good. Because someone texted me the other day, like, I can't find you. I'm like, I don't even know what to say.
I got you.
So, that's good. I'm on there.
All right, well, let's go buy me a house.
Yeah, let's do it.